Hey everybody, it's Matthew Swires, author of The Maverick Method, How to Win the Startup Game, as well as founder of the Trademark Company. And today we have the question of when to listen to advice and when not to take advice. So as you go down your road, your entrepreneurial road, as we like to say, you're going to have an abundance, tons of people trying to give you advice, which way you should do this, what you should do, that will never work, this will work, whatever. And so we've developed really two questions that you really should always ask as to when to take advice and when not to, because not every piece of advice that you get is going to be good advice. Some may be quite bad and such, and so you have to ask two questions, and this should sort of guide you as to whether or not you should take the advice. The first question that you always ask is, does the person know what they are talking about? The vast majority of people who are going to give you advice when you start down the road of entrepreneurship are going to be people that never honestly had the chutzpah to go out and do their own thing. And if they're working for somebody else still and they've never started a company, if they've never been an entrepreneur themselves, make sure you take whatever they say with a grain of salt. They may be intelligent, they may have good intentions in mind for you, but if they don't know what they're talking about, then you've got to relegate that to something that you may or may not take. Again, if you have someone, for instance, like our friends over at the Shark Tank, if they tell you something, I'm always amazed at how many people will try to argue with the members of the panel on the Shark Tank. They've been through this. They have done this thousands of times. They know what they are talking about. So if they say something to you, they know what they're talking about. But for the average person, you really do have to look at it and say, okay, does this person know what they are talking about? Okay, number two, what's their motivation? Okay, so a lot of times you can have someone that is, most times they're going to be, positively motivated. They're just trying to help you out. But sometimes they may just be wanting to hear themselves talk. Maybe they're trying to show to you how intelligent they are, yet they've never started a business themselves. There's a lot of different things. Sometimes, especially if it's in the case of you happen to share your business idea with a boss, someone who you're currently working for, they may have a situation where they don't want you to succeed because they want you to keep working for them. We see this all the time. I think Steve Harvey, famously, tells a story about him telling his boss how he wants to go be a comedian. And his boss is like, "You're not funny." As we all know, Steve Harvey's a riot. And such. And so, but that boss knew that Steve Harvey was a good worker. And I think it's Steve Harvey that told the story. But in any event, he knew that he was a good worker, so he didn't want to lose him. But so his motivation had nothing to do with telling Steve Harvey whether or not he should become an entrepreneur and basically go out and do the whole comedy thing. His motivation was keep that guy underneath my thumb and keep him working for me. So two questions you always want to ask when getting advice as an entrepreneur. Number one, do they know what they're talking about? And number two, what's their motivation? Only when those two things align, number one, they know what they're talking about, and two, they're either positively motivated for you or at least at a minimum not negatively motivated towards you, that's when you should take the advice of somebody. I hope this has been helpful. Little screening test for the advice that you'll get on your road. Leave thoughts or comments in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching.